Mm. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm so glad you're joining us. This is Ask a Union Student. I'm Brianne Engelhardt. I'm the campus visit coordinator here at Union College. I'm so excited that we have a chance to do this. My job is to help you experience why Union College is so special. So one of my favorite things is we have preview days throughout the school year, and we have 4 to 5 of those a year. And unfortunately now we aren't having our 2 final ones this spring. So we wanted to jump on here and try and do a virtual panel of allowing us to talk to some of our union ambassadors that you would meet normally during your preview days. They're super excited to meet you. So during this time, if you have any questions at all for any of us, just send it on in the chat and we will answer those questions. Also, tell us where you're from. Where are you joining us from? So without further ado, here's some of my union ambassadors, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves and tell you where they're from and what they're studying.
Hi, my name is Annabelle Harper. I am from Augusta, Georgia. I'm an elementary ed major, and this is my sophomore year, and I will be going into my junior year.
Hello, my name is Wesley Rodrigues. My family is from Texas, although currently I'm in New Mexico right now. I am a senior international relations major, hoping to graduate in some shape or form this May. So here's to that.
Hi, my name is Keithley. I'm in Texas right now, Keene, Texas, and I'm a business major, and I'm a sophomore.
Well, awesome. I'm so glad you all could join me. I really miss you. We worked together a lot throughout the whole year, so it's been hard not to have you guys around, but I'm so glad to see you now. So I'm just going to ask you some questions, and we're going to have a little chat. You guys ready?
Yes.
Sounds good.
I'm very
Great. So we're all learning distance now, and you have online classes. You're getting used to that. So tell me, what have been some of the tricks and tips you've learned to succeed at that?
I'll go first. I know one thing that's pretty commonly said is have a space where you do your work. Don't have it be in your bed, because then you'll get distracted. You're not focused. You'll go on your phone, which I'm not saying, I don't anyways, but while you're at home, make a space in your house that is specifically for school, because then you will get in the headspace. So when you get to that location, you're like, okay, time for school. And it is helpful to get back into the rhythm of things.
For me, something that is really helpful is generally just eating. Now that I am not like having to rush to the caf or hoping that maybe I bought something the night before or some snacks in my room. Now I can generally be like, okay, well, I'll just go into the kitchen real quick and grab something. Helps keep me awake, helps keep me focused. The professors usually don't mind if you eat during the
Yeah.
class. I mean, this morning I had a class, like a history class, and like 4 of us, teacher included, were snacking or drinking something. So I mean, it kind of, helps whenever you see everyone's, in the same boat, all trying to do the same thing. So for me, eating something, even if it's something light, either before or during class, that really helps.
So for me, it's been trying to get some sort of exercise during the day. My parents recently brought a treadmill because I was going to be home, and like they wanted to be like they were going to be home too. So I've been getting on that, jumping on the trampoline, just getting some sort of like exercise going. So I feel more energetic.
That's awesome. I've been doing that too as I'm working remotely, making sure I take a 15-minute break and just walk around the block or something. Super helpful to move, right?
Yeah, today I actually set up my hammock outside, so now I can, do some homework outside and do my classes and be relaxed, but also be comfortable and outside, because you're indoors all the time because of the stay-at-home, requirement. So it's important also to go outside, get some sunshine, breathe some fresh air, get some exercise, and maybe eat a snack while you're doing it. Just combine all three of them.
I'm super happy that the weather is getting nice for most locations, and that has been super helpful. I was just up in North Dakota and it snowed. So that kind of threw it all off because I was used to nice spring weather, but we have some nice spring weather now. All right, so I want each of you to kind of share with me, why did you pick Union College? Why did you decide to come and study here? What kind of sold that for you?
So I'll go first. I am originally from Georgia, and Georgia is not really near Nebraska. So I was planning on going to Southern my entire life. It was kind of the plan. And Southern is a great school, but I had been told from my friend, hey, you should check out Union. Hey, you should check out Union. And at the time, I didn't really see it as the Lord speaking to me or the Lord, coming in and saying, hey, this is where I want you to go. But now that I look back at it, I see it as the Lord directing me in that direction because Union has changed my life. I've grown so much. I'm not the same freshman who came in. And Union college in general changes you, but Union itself is such a spiritual atmosphere. And that's one of the things that brought me to Union is when I visited Union, the spiritual atmosphere was incredible. And the people were so nice. And it was like a tight-knit little family. And people know each other, people support each other, and it's a great environment. So that was one of the reasons why I was brought to Union, because the Lord wanted me there and because the Lord is there.
Did you have a chance to visit Union College before you came?
I did actually. It was during the summer, so there was nobody there. That's another reason why it was wild for me to have that such spiritual atmosphere because nobody was there. But yet it was still there. Like you could feel the fact that this is such a special place. And I had spoken to my enrollment counselor and Pastor Rich. I had spoken to him like briefly, and it was a great experience. So I really enjoyed it. My parents fell in love with it. So it was a good choice. Way to go, God. Like it was a good choice on his end.
All right. Well, for me, I'm from Texas. I went to high school at CTA, Chisholm Trail Academy, with Keithley actually, and it's down the street from Southwestern. I personally wanted a change of pace, change of location. I didn't want to go to school down the street to where I had just gone for the last 4 years. So, and kind of exploring and everything, uh, found Union, had some friends who had like told me a little bit about it, and I decided to visit. Um, it was a nice visit. I went during the spring, and I got to experience like the gymnastics team. I got to experience all sorts of things. But what really got me was the international relations program, because I still didn't know what I wanted to be, what I wanted to do. I figured, oh, I have a couple months before I graduate high school. I should have like plenty of time to figure it out. But I still had not really anything. I knew I didn't want to do anything like business or medical, like not really my kind of thing. So we go to the faculty's home on Sabbath for Sabbath lunch for more of like a personal sort of interaction with other students and other faculty. And that Sabbath, I was assigned to go to the McNeil's home, and Dr. Banks, who is now my advisor, uh, was there, and he started talking to my parents because there was like a little map of the world, and my parents were looking at it, and he's like, "Oh, I see you're looking at the map." And so he started talking about international relations, how different countries are like connected and everything, and I I ended up really liking it. My parents called me over. They're like, "Here, check this out." And Dr. Banks basically pitched the whole program to me, and I was like, "Wow, this program has like everything that I was like looking for. It's interesting. It's studying the world. It's like up to date and current. It's interacting with people and politics and all sorts of things." So the more that I learned about it, the more I was interested, and I started to look into some other schools to see if they had something related to it, but turns out Union was the only one that had it, and I was like, well, great. I already love the atmosphere. I love the school. I just needed to find like something to actually study, and all of the pieces fell into place. So definitely it was something from God that He just laid it out perfectly in front of me, and I just couldn't say no to it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So mine, it starts from like a while back, I guess. So I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia, and then like
Oh,
yeah, so since I was little, I always wanted to go to Southern, but then we ended up moving to Keene, Texas, and that's 10 minutes away from, I lived 10 minutes away from SWAU. And so, like, growing up in high school, like, during high school, I didn't know where I wanted to go because I still kind of wanted to go back to Southern. Um, but SWAU seemed like the obvious choice. And it went all the way up to like my senior year. I was walking down the aisle and I still had no idea where I was headed, and everything was just like up in the air. At that time, I was actually looking at Andrews. And so by the time I graduated, I was like 85% sure I was going to go to Andrews. And then I hadn't visited yet. So I was going to go visit Andrews and then see how it went. And my fallback was going to be Saul. But what happened is on my visit, I I don't know why this happened, but we decided to visit Union since it was kind of along the way. We were like, okay, whatever, I'll just go visit. It was like nowhere in my plans. Like it wasn't even one of my top three options at all. Like I wasn't considering it. And I was like, well, it won't hurt to stop by, I guess. So we went by. I absolutely loved my tour and everything. And like my whole entire visit went amazing. It was great. And so on the way to Andrews, I was like, God, I have no idea. I still didn't even know what I was going to do. Like, I didn't even know what major. And I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I was like, I need a sign. Tell me where I'm headed. And literally, we're driving. And as you drove by, there's a sign that says Lincoln. And I was like, hold up, this is too good to be true. So, I'll make you a little deal. Give me 5 signs that say Lincoln, and I'll go to Union. So, thinking that this probably wasn't going to happen, I was like, yeah, it's fine. As we go by, I counted down 3 by the time we got Andrews that had said Lincoln. And they were like random. It was like a road sign, a sign on like a restaurant. It was just the weirdest things. By the end of my visit at Andrews, I had seen 5 signs that read Lincoln, but I still wasn't sure. I was like, I don't know. Like, did I read wrong? Did I count one over like twice or something like that? And I was just like, I don't know. And the last one was we were going to the admissions building, and my dad and I were headed into there just to say like thank you for your hospitality and for the visit. And as we're walking by, there's a golf cart parked outside. I don't know if they usually have license plates, but this one did. And the license plate read Nebraska. And I was like, that's it. That's okay. I'm headed to Union.
that's so
So
cool.
I hadn't told my parents about this deal. And then towards the end of the trip, a couple stuff had gone wrong. And I was supposed to take my ACT in the morning, but then it had switched to the afternoon and they hadn't let me know. And so my parents were like, do you want to stay and take it? Like, it's okay. We can still take it. We don't have to go right now because we had other plans in the afternoon. And they were like, we can change them and stuff. You can take it. And I was like, no, like, it's fine. And my mom was like, are you sure you're not making a decision you're going to regret? And that's when I told them about my deal with God. And they were like, okay, you're going to Union. And so I've never looked back on that. I don't regret my decision at all. And I'm super happy to be where I'm at.
That's so awesome. I love that you had that kind of experience, and you did something that we suggest everyone should do when they're looking and deciding on what colleges to go to, and that is get on the campuses if you can. Go visit, talk to people from there, because we want you to find the best fit for you. So since we can't be having these face-to-face conversations with our guests and our visitors, we want to be having them here. So thank you for joining in, for watching this with us. We love interacting with you. So I have someone who asked us kind of about how Union is handling having closed face-to-face classes. So do you guys want to share a little bit about how your classes have been going, what you're doing?
Sure, I can share. So I'm not really sure what most of it, but classes for me specifically have been going really well. A lot of the teachers it was a change for them. It was a change and it took them a minute to transition to online classes, but they did it. And I think the main thing that right now the mindset of Union is, amongst other things, is just, to have some grace and to have some patience with the students and with the teachers, because students having a 2-week break and then having to get back into the ring of things, and teachers not knowing what they're doing and teachers trying to figure it out, and them not posting assignments or not having it correctly, or things that, could happen. It's important that right now, and Union's done a really good job of promoting that, have grace with your teachers, and teachers have grace with your students. It's a hard thing to come from your school atmosphere to home and have to have that mindset and transfer it. So Union's doing a really good job of keeping the students informed. They're constantly sending out emails, not constantly, but like important, emails. They are letting the students know, this is what we have updating. These are some resources. Our student life center, our student, what's it called? Our career center, I don't know I think it's going to have a new name, but our career center right now, Taryn Rouse, she's doing a great job of giving students weekly tips of things that they can do to help, transfer the process into online learning. And I know Debbie Unterseer is doing a really good job of teaching the professors and staff how to use Zoom, how to use online programs. So Union's doing a really good job. It's difficult and the whole nation is struggling, but Union's doing a really good job of keeping the students informed, helping them, and the teachers as well.
I think you said that really well, how much grace we're feeling right now, of everyone just knowing that we're all learning this together across the nation. We're figuring this out, and it has been awesome to see each faculty, each student, each staff kind of figure that out and to learn and to grow together. So that's awesome. So while you were at Preview Days, one of our favorite things to do is our mega tour time. So that's the time when all of our guests, we pair them up with some of you ambassadors and we go out and we tour the campus. I love that time. I know it's one of the main highlights for you guys. It's one of the main parts of your job to show students what Union is like. So during that time, you're able to kind of point out some of your favorite spots on campus. So I wanted you to just tell kind of people about that. So when you study on Union's campus, what kind of locations do you like to study? Where do you like to use resources?
I already talked a lot. Does somebody else want to take it away?
I'll do it. So, whenever it's time to study, generally I study like in my room because I feel like that's sort of where I will have the least distractions from people, at least. But if I need a change of pace or just a change of location, I usually go to the student center. They have the little study rooms that you can rent out with your ID. You just hand in the ID, they unlock the door for you, and like they're pretty private. They have a window so you can still see who's inside, and maybe wave to your friends whenever they walk in and stuff. But it's also really handy because they have redone the walls inside, so you can take a dry erase marker and mark all over the walls and just erase it whenever you're done. And that's really handy for whenever you have like those big tests where you just have a whole lot of information. You just got to organize it the best you can. And plus, Student Center makes a really great place to study with groups of people. I, for one, study really great with like at least one other person or something like that to bounce ideas, to like say things out loud. Otherwise, I just sort of like get distracted a lot easier. It helps for someone to keep me focused on track. And the icing on the cake would have to be Cooper's Corner, which is like our little convenience store,
Yeah.
junk food, whatever you want to call it. You got all kinds of stuff there. So if you want a little bit of like a study snack, like a drink, or even want to make a oven pizza or whatever, then just pop on over. It's literally in the student center, and you come back and you're like, all right, let's keep studying. So all those really make the student center probably my favorite place to study.
That's awesome.
Can I just interject really quick? Cooper's does an amazing job of like having a bunch of snacks, and also the manager, most students know him, his name is Moses. If you reach out to him and you say, hey, I really love this snack, he'll get it on there for you. He'll order it and he will put it in there for you so that you can buy it. Cooper's is amazing. I love Cooper's because if I'm hungry, I can just go there and get a snack that I want. It's not just any snack. It's a snack that I'm craving, that I want. And Cooper's does a really good job of having a variety. I know this next year they're going to try and add some more, even more healthier snacks, even more healthy options for students who, want more fruits and veggies. So Cooper's is doing a really good job of trying to balance those, what students want versus what students need. So they're doing a good job.
Great. So I also want to ask you guys then, if you're not studying, because you can't be studying 24/7, I'm sure. You got to sleep in there. And if you want to hang out, where's your go-to spot on campus to kind of hang out with friends?
Keith Lee, you want to take it?
I'll take it. So mine is the student center. I think everything goes on there too, like not just the studying, but like people go to hang out there too, and the couches area, pool tables. Um, so yeah, I think that's my favorite place. Or walking into the cafe randomly too, just walk in there, see who you find, and then hanging out. I think, yeah.
Yeah, for me, I would have to say it's campus ministries. Campus ministries does a really good job of always having their door open. Students are always hanging out in there, having fun in between classes. You can stop in for 5 minutes, say hi to Pastor Rich, say hi to your friends, and then go back to class. So I'm in there literally all the time. I love campus ministries. If I'm not in my room or at work, I'm in campus ministries because it's a great place to just hang out and have some fun.
That's awesome. So that's a great segue into a question that we got asked. Someone wants to know, tell us a little bit more about the spiritual experience and spiritual activities and spiritual life on Union's campus.
Okay, I'll go ahead and take this one. So, Union does a really great job of having a lot of different spiritual options, whether it's like different kinds of Sabbath schools or the fact that in Lincoln there's at least, I think, 6 Adventist churches, and there's plenty of other like denominations. If you don't want to go to an Adventist church or just sort of branch out, then you can do that as well. The spiritual life is all student led. So if you walk into campus ministries, and Pastor Rich likes to say, as long as it's not illegal, immoral, or unethical, then we can do it.
Yep.
So if you want to create your own small group, create your own Sabbath school, create your own like community outreach project or whatever whatever it is, then just go in there, say like, hey, I have an idea for this. They can help you get funding, they can help you get support, they can help get even like the word out, so that way you can reach out to other people on campus, let them know what's going on. Or if you just want to do it with a handful of friends and just keep it like that, then that's totally fine too. So there's plenty of options, plenty of uh, I guess availability for you to explore what your ideas might be and how to make them like a reality. And it's all in the spirit of trying to help you grow your relationship with God and making sure that you have that Christian experience on campus. So we'll always have stuff available. Like they have like Friday night vespers or V2, which is our Saturday night vespers. All sorts of things like that. Or you can just go ahead and create your own and make that experience as personal as you want it.
Awesome. Do you guys have anything else to add about your personal experience?
I don't want to. Keithley, do you want to add something?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I also want to say that at least currently right now during the COVID-19 crisis, Union and specifically campus ministries is doing a really good job of having resources for students to still have that spiritual atmosphere. They do the daily bread. They do Today in Quarantine with one of the youth pastors from CVC. They do nightly check-in via Zoom. So there are a ton of opportunities for students to still get involved, to still feel loved, to still check in with some of the staff members, to say hi, because they miss us. They really do. Campus is dead, and they tell us all the time that they miss us, and they just want to check in and pray with you and talk with you if you need help. I know a lot of students during this time are having a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress, a lot of, trouble staying focused. And while, doing things like exercising and having a space is important, it's also talking to people and praying with people and just communicating, because we are communicators by nature. So to have the nightly check-ins via Zoom is a great resource. I myself have hopped on there a couple times, and it's just to say hi, and they pray with us, and it's great. It's just like a little refresh.
That's awesome. One of my favorite things about Union Campus spiritual atmosphere is actually called HeartScan, and I get to participate in that as a staff member, and I really love it. So it allows me to connect with one student one-on-one, and we just kind of do a weekly check-in for about an hour. We get to talk about how their spiritual journey is going, how life is going, how maybe relationships are going, stress levels, classes, anything. And it allows me to just slow down and take intentional time to connect with any student that I'm having heart scan with. And that is promoted from Campus Ministries. And it is a wonderful mentoring program that I really appreciate and that I grow from too, actually. Keithley, you have anything you want to add, or you want me to go to the next question?
I think you guys covered it all.
We stole all your talking points, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I want to ask you guys a little bit more about your areas of expertise, I'll call them. So Annabelle, you have been our ASB social vice. Tell me what that's like. Tell me what ASB is, what it means to be social vice, how you got that position, anything you want. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So first of all, I love my position and I love my job. I love all of my jobs. ASB is the associated student body of our campus. It is a select group of students who represent the student body, who represent them in spiritual needs, in academic needs, in residential needs, and in social life needs. So ASB is pretty much just a representative of the campus. So we do activities. I myself, as social vice, I plan and execute with my team a lot of the activities, almost all the activities. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work. And I could not have been able to do it without my team. My team is a great resource. It is super helpful. They are amazing. And some of the activities that we do, every single year, actually, we have a specific event for the freshmen at the very beginning of the year during U Connect Week. And that this past year was Mingle at the Movies. And we had some boba, we had some donuts, and we played the movie Avengers Endgame. So it was just a fun little get together. ASB hosted that, and it was a lot of fun. People loved it. People loved the boba. I've never tried boba, so it was great. It was great. But they also do a lot of other fun things. Like this year, we had a Clash of Classes. Sorry, the name kind of just left me for a second. Clash of Classes, which is when we put all of the classes against each other. It's also known as, what's the name that they call it in high school?
Class scramble?
Yeah, well, class
Is it
scramble.
like Junk Wars?
No, I can't think of what it's called. But they call it something else in high school, at least they did at mine, and it was a lot of fun. So I wanted to bring it here to Union. I love hearing feedback from students. So if students come up to me, they're like, hey, I really, really, really want to do this event. I try my very hardest to make it possible because it is my job to plan events that they want. So of course I want to hear what they want. I want to hear what they're interested in. I want to hear what they love. So I love my job. I think it's a lot of fun. My favorite activity that I love to plan this past year, they were all so much fun. I loved planning banquets. They were stressful, but they were fun. But I would say my all-time favorite, just because it was just a bunch of fun, was Clash of Classes, because all of the students came. Well, not all of them, but a good majority of the students came, and they dressed in their class colors, and it was just a lot of fun. I really loved it. I have a lot of energy, so it was fun to just let go of that energy and have fun with my classmates. I really enjoyed it. I think the people who went enjoyed it. And for those who do come to campus as freshmen, one of the biggest things I would suggest, I know this is kind of off top is when you're on campus, get involved, go to events, do something, join a club, create a small group, do something to get involved, because that is going to make your campus college experience even better, because you're going to create relationships and you're going to create friends and you're going to make memories. And it's a lot of fun. So go to events, and when you're there, make some friends, and then go to the next event with those friends, and then make some more friends. And maybe if you really like each other, then you can create a group or a club. And it's a lot of fun to just get involved on campus. And if you're super passionate about things, join a leadership position of some type. So there's a lot of things to do on campus to get involved. I love my job and I had a great year, and next year's going to be even more amazing with the new team. So if you are here as a union student, go to the events because they're going to be amazing.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Annabelle. Wesley, why don't you tell me a little bit more about your major? You kind of talked about that a little bit in your introductions. Now, international relations is very unique, and many people don't know much about what that is. So why don't you tell us a little bit what it is, what you love about it, how your experience is going?
All right, so international relations, in a nutshell, is kind of like the study of the world and how it works. You have a mixture of political science, a mixture of business, history, and geography. Political science kind of speaks for itself in regards to just how different countries are going to interact with each other. Business, because money makes the world go around in the sense of like how countries can if they're able to support themselves or support the people that live in them. So you have to understand like who's doing business with who's trading what, and the different stuff that goes into that. Then you have history. You have to understand the people and the culture, and why maybe one country doesn't like another. And even though if they maybe teamed up, they'd be able to do something great, but they have like this whole history behind them. And then you have geography, takes things into account like borders and like water supply and land for growing food and even historical or religious significance, and it's all this stuff that like falls in and it all blends together to make the international relations program. Professor Banks is sort of like created this program, drawing bits and pieces from his career and like his time over studying at Oxford and stuff like that. So he's definitely very knowledgeable. If you want to sit down and talk to him, make sure you have like at least an hour or so, because he can just go on and on about oil and gas and how everything is like tied into that, and how the world economy is this and the American economy is that. And it can get a little bit overwhelming sometimes, but my favorite thing about the major probably has to be the fact that as something is happening today in the news, judging by how people are reacting or how the situation is unfolding, you can look at that and sort of see like, okay, I understand why this is happening. I understand why Saudi Arabia is doing this, or why Russia is doing that, or why like our president is doing this, and it's all tying into just like how this happened 100 years ago, or how this country feels about that country. So it's really interesting because even though a lot of the courses are spent looking at things the way they've been in the past, it all circles back into why is this happening today, how is it happening. And there's something that Professor Banks likes to say a lot, and that's basically uh, the international relations is the whole purpose is to show how things on the world scale affect the individual, like today, not only just you but the people around you, your family, that kind of thing. So it's really cool to sort of be like drawing knowledge from all these different places and be able to apply it on a daily basis. Ever since getting into this major, I've noticed that a lot of like my personal like habits have also changed. So like I have, for example, a news app on my phone that hits me up with notifications, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is happening here. And sometimes I'll send Professor Banks an email saying, did you see this and this and that and this, and then he sends me back like a bunch of articles that tie in. And it's a lot of like stuff that's happening in the now, but it's also nice to be able to have that sort of understanding of the world that you might not have like had before. So I don't know if that covers what you were wanting, Brian. If you have other questions, obviously I'm more willing to talk about it, but I know I can go on.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that with us. I just want to remind everyone who's watching that you can send us comments and we will answer those questions. So feel free to hit us up with more questions and we'll continue to answer them. I actually got one right now that I want to share with you guys to just kind of, I think you're a great crowd to actually speak to this. So we have someone who says, I'm from Alabama and I'm going to be a freshman at Union this fall. And I was wondering, as a student, how important is it to have a car?
Well, I don't have a car. I don't know if Keith Lee or Wesley
have a car.
No.
None of us have a car.
So how do you handle that? What do you do to get around? Because I feel the same, that it isn't, you don't have to have a car to be on Union's campus. What do you do though? How do you get around?
Yeah. It's definitely it would be nice to have a car. I'm sorry, Keithy, we're gonna
No,
go.
go for it. I'll go after you.
So it's nice if you have a car. It's great. I love that for you. If you don't, make friends who do, because you will definitely be very close to them. You'll probably ask them to go out maybe at least once a week. It's nice to have friends who have cars, because then you can go out and get supplies that you need from Target or Walmart, or you can just go get some food at Sonic or Taco Bell. You can just stop by your favorite food places. It's not super bad if you don't have a car though. It's really not. You're not going to die. It's truly okay. I myself know. But if you do get one, that's great. If you don't, just make friends who have them. I know that Union tries to, at least they have in the past, they've tried to do town trips. So if you don't have a car, you can take the bus and they'll take you to town and you can buy your food or your supplies, and then they take you back to school. So there are resources on campus to help you with that. But my primary suggestion would be to make friends who have cars, because then you'll be able to go places. So go ahead, Keithley. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt.
No, I second that. Make friends who have cars, and also you don't need one because there's foods on campus.
Yeah.
If you ever need anything, the campus store pretty much has everything. It's like a small mini Walmart. Because if you need toothpaste, you need um medicine for like headaches, or if you're feeling sick or anything, toilet paper,
Supplies.
they
I
have it
know.
all. So like you don't need a car. It's nice to have one. But it's not necessary. Like it's not a necessity. I've gone 2 years without a car at Union and I'm fine. So yeah. Oh, Dave.
Oh wait, Wesley, how many years have you gone without a car?
I've gone all 4 years. Honestly,
Oh my.
couldn't the bottom line is like I couldn't really like afford it. But I remember my freshman year, like me and my friend group, there's like 12 of us or 14 of us. We were pretty big, and we would all literally pile into two cars to just go into Taco Bell maybe like once or twice a month. But in reality, like especially as you get more involved on campus, and depending on like how your routine is or how your schedule is, I've honestly done pretty good without a car. I haven't really felt like, oh man, I really need a car. Every now and then I'm just kind of like, it'd be kind of nice to be able to go somewhere without having to ask somebody for a ride, or like depending on how close you are with somebody, maybe asking them if you can borrow their car. Obviously some people are going to say no, which completely respect that, but some people are like, yeah, just if you don't mind, put like $5 of gas into it or something like that. And there's usually systems that work pretty well. You just talk with your friends about it, or you could send them to get stuff for you. I mean, and now in this day and age of like Uber Eats and everything, and then now
You're
that
chilling. I
yeah,
mean,
COVID-19 has
you're
made almost
fine.
everything delivery. So like I'm sure even after all this blows over, a lot of those are still going to be in place. So if for some reason you can't get off campus, but you still like have that craving, then you just order it up and
Get
you
that
should be
Uber
good to go.
Eats and you're good.
Yeah.
Well, the one
Exactly.
thing that's super nice too is that straight across the street, we have a little bakery that does gluten-free, dairy-free, everything, any kind of allergies you could have. They have something there. There's a coffee shop for studying there that students love. The ABC Book Center is right there. Also, for a little bit longer walk, you can walk to Target. It's, I don't know exactly how many miles away it is. I don't
Car.
I don't think it's even a full mile, maybe a couple. You can walk to Target. There's gas stations right down the road. Everything is within walking distance of anything essential that you would absolutely need. So even if you don't have a car and don't feel comfortable asking anyone yet, you could walk literally anywhere you need safely. And if you really want to go to something specific, there also is Uber in town, so that will definitely help. So.
Yeah.
And also, most of any students that I interact with that are my student workers or anything like that, actually, a lot of them don't have cars. But that's a question I get a ton from prospective students or their parents who just wonder that, especially as freshmen, it's usually not possible for everyone to have cars. So thank
It's
you guys
really
for sharing
nice.
that.
It's really nice that like Lincoln is already like a pretty well developed like city and everything, and so you have just about everything you need. And the fact that Union is right smack in the middle of it, I mean we're 10 minutes from downtown, so um it's not in the like Union is not in the middle of nowhere. Some of our sister schools might feel like they might be, but we're like right in the middle. So you cross the street, you're off campus, you're in the city of Lincoln, you can get what you need whenever, really.
Yeah. There are resources. I mean, just like Brianne was saying, you can just walk down the street and go get stuff. I mean, I've done that so many times. There's Little Caesars, there's an ice cream place, there's a Mexican restaurant. You can just walk down. I do it with my friends all the time. You know, when you don't have a car, you do what you got to do when you're hungry. So
And we're right on a bus route too. I forgot to mention that. So if you would have a job off campus that you want to get to.
yeah.
So we got another question that is talking about work study, how you apply for that. Is it like a regular job where you interview and everything? So I just wanted to quickly state that we do have a lot of campus jobs on campus that you can work for either a faculty member as their reader, TA, help them with that. I hire in enrollment as well as other people, the cafeteria, grounds. There's so many. And so if you go on our website, you're able to see student employment jobs. Through there, you can fill out an application. And then most jobs, you do follow a standard interview process. I know that to become a union ambassador, each one of you followed an interview process with me. You submitted an application. So those are some jobs. Do you guys hold any other jobs on campus that are not a student ambassador?
Yes.
What do you
So
do?
I'll go first. I have like 4 jobs, 3, I don't know. Yeah, they're not that time consuming, so it's not that much. I'm a TA for one of the religion teachers. And I kind of just got hired on the spot. He was like, I need a TA if anyone's interested, and I needed a job. So I was like, I'll do it. And he was like, okay. And so it's been a lot of fun. I actually enjoyed it a lot. I just grade essays and all that stuff, quizzes, and I don't do the test, but I kind of like grade them. So yeah, it's not bad. I also coach gymnastics elementary at CVA, which is right down the street. And what else do I do?
You're an ambassador.
I'm an ambassador. I have another one though. Oh, I'm a tutor. I'm a tutor for accounting and stats. So it's really easy. Some of them I just got hired off the spot. Like they're like, who wants it? And I was like, I'm available to do it. So they were like, yeah. Most of them you kind of have to write something, turn in a resume, but not all of them. Like last year I worked at the cafeteria and I kind of got hired on the spot. I was like, I want a job. And they're like, here you go. And I was like, okay, you start Monday. And I was like, all right, nice. So it's not hard to find a job at all on campus. And a lot of the jobs are really fun. So definitely don't worry about that.
Yeah, so true. I did want to mention in our chat, we had skipped over a question that is actually getting answered by a fellow teammate because it's probably not the best for you guys to answer. You might not have the exact answers. So it's about summer programs. So just letting you know that that is getting answered. And so I wanted to talk to you guys a couple more questions. Is community service emphasized at Union College?
Yes. Am I taking this one?
Take it.
If you want
Take
to
it
go
away,
for it.
Keithley.
So yes, we do enforce community service. I think what Union does the best is including the community as part of us. Like we make ourselves known in the community and making sure they're a part of it too. One of my favorite things, I think it's one of my favorite days on Union, is called Project Impact, is where we take that whole entire day. There's no classes or everything or anything. And we just go out. We wake up in the morning, have breakfast outside, and then they split us up into groups. You can choose where you want to go to. I'm in the gymnastics team, so we go separately to an elementary school and help out there with their garden, and uh, inside too if the teachers need assistance. But there's like other places you can go. You can go to the shelter, to food banks, to like Salvation Army, I think. I'm not sure. Stores like that, and just help around. And I think it's a really cool thing that we do to make an impact on our community. So I think yes, we do community service.
Yeah.
We do
Also,
involve them a lot.
sorry. Also seconding that, on campus, like outside of Project Impact, that is one of the hugest community service events that we have here. The hugest.
Wasn't going to say anything, but you know.
I heard it after it left my mouth, and I was like, oh, okay, well, it's one of the biggest events that we have on campus revolving around community service. But we also have weekly community service outreach opportunities. We have something called SOS, which is run by Campus Ministries, which is something on Sabbath. And it's a community opportunity. They do things like visiting the nursing home or going to write chalk on the sidewalks or, writing some cards for some elderly people, whatever the case may be. They have opportunities every single Sabbath. And if you are one of those people that loves community outreach and is highly passionate about that, then there is a position in Campus Ministries that you can do that for your job. So that kind of ties in kind of both. If you love working on that, then you can apply for that job and you get to do that all the time. So it's a great thing to do if you want to do it. But Union does a really good job of having community opportunities. And if you want more, Union is constantly trying to improve that and trying to improve in general. So if you reach out to Pastor Rich or anybody who works in Campus Ministries and says, hey, I want more campus ministry outreach opportunities, Pastor Rich will jump on that and he will try and create 1,000 other opportunities for you. So Union does a really good job of that.
You guys spoke earlier about how, when we were answering the car question, about how we are in the center of town where everything is really close by. Now I want you guys to say, if that's the case, what are the closest things that we can do to get out in nature? Hiking, backpacking, enjoying the outdoors, parks close by. What do you guys like to do?
I'll go ahead and take this one.
I knew you were going to take it.
Okay, but
Compliment.
all right, I'll take it. I was just a little confused, that's all. But anyway, so one thing that's really popular to do among union students is to hammock, especially the IRR students. They will hammock everywhere. They go crazy with how high they can stack their hammocks, and it's all over the place. But Union is actually a nationally recognized arboretum. We have like 125 different kinds of trees on campus. So it looks really pretty in the fall, it looks really pretty in the spring. So you can be on campus and still experience that nature, and that's really nice. If you want to get off campus, Holmes Lake is like a 10-minute walk or maybe a 2-minute drive away, and it's like a nice big lake that you can walk around. There's like baseball fields, there's more trees to hammock, there's a little playground. Uh, Whenever the weather's nice, people might like go kayaking or something in the lake. If whenever it's winter time, the lake is completely frozen and it's like been deemed safe to go on, then people will go out on the ice as well. We have other parks like Pioneers, which is maybe I want to say 10, 15 minutes away driving. It's this huge park, lots of nature, lots of trees, that kind of thing. Um, those are the two that I've like gone to specifically. I'm sure there are more, but for the most part, that's kind of like where union students tend to go to, and it's honestly really nice. Just whenever the weather is nice, you go out for a walk. You kind of reconnect with nature in that way. So even though we are in the middle of the city, we have that sort of access. So you're not feeling like you're suffocated or you need to get back to nature or anything like that.
Yeah, one of my favorite parks is Pioneer Park. Sorry, jumping on here as if I'm a union student. And go out to Pioneer Park, and they have lots of trails to walk around. There's Mahoney Park. It's like 30 minutes away. So some of those are a little bit farther, but they're super beautiful. We have so many parks in Lincoln. It feels like I don't think I could even get to all of them in a year.
That's true. Also, going off of that is everybody thinks Nebraska is flat. And while portions of Nebraska may be flat, I actually took a geography class last semester, and it taught me a lot about the geography of Nebraska. We're actually not as flat as I thought. We have something called the Nebraska Sandhills, and it's like 3 hours from Lincoln, and it's one of the largest plant-anchored sand dune regions of the world. So that was really cool. I didn't know that, but it's a great place to just go and visit. There's a ton of cool places I know it's not really super close in Lincoln, but on a winter break weekend or on a weekend in general, if you want to just get out of Lincoln and go try something new, there's a ton of places that you can go. There's also states nearby that you can visit, as students do all the time. So there's a lot of cool outdoor things that you can do. I mean, we don't really have skiing or anything like that, but we have other fun things too, like sandhills.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for answering that question. So I wanted to kind of ask you guys some other questions. How large are most of your classes here at Union College?
So for classes, whenever I was a freshman taking a lot of gen ed courses and stuff like that, classes tend to be a little bigger because you got people from all different majors, like trying to get those requirements out of the way. But by honestly, second semester freshman year, early sophomore year, you start to get more into your major and stuff like that. The classes really shrink to a more like personal level. I believe the average of like faculty to students at Union is about 10 to 1, and that'll vary from class to class depending on your major, how many people are in your major. Like international relations, I'm graduating with about 5 other people in the same major. So sometimes we would have a class of literally those 5 people. And it's really nice to have that one-on-one time with the professor. All the professors are really friendly, so they get to know you personally. Obviously, they'll like call you by name. They'll know you like your study styles maybe. I've had teachers who like might adapt their teaching style a little bit to our learning style, and that's always been super helpful. If you join the honors program, then the classes get even smaller because there's not a whole lot of us in it, and the classes are more discussion based. So it's like you have that ability to not only talk with your professor but your peers in like a smaller uh, like more concentrated classroom. And that's one thing that Union has been super helpful with in regards to learning and just experiencing like education this way. You have that close knit family sense, and that also translates into your classes where you have smaller classes. So it really helps with if you're struggling with something, you raise your hand, the teacher will backtrack without having to feel like he's got 99 other people to worry about. So that's nice.
Yeah, I love the small, close-knit community feel that Union College has, where I feel like I can know a vast majority of the students on a personal level, not just as maybe I saw their name coming through the admissions team, anything like that. You get to know everyone on campus if you go to the events, as Annabelle had said, if you join in on campus ministries, things like that. So that's really awesome. So I'm going to ask you guys probably maybe our last question. We'll see how much time we have after that. How hard is it to change your major? So I know that maybe some of you came in with your major and you're good and you haven't changed, or maybe you came into something else and you decided to change. So was that easy to do, difficult? How did you go about that?
Okay, I'll start. Um, so I originally came in as a nursing major, and I started that and I did it for a year, and I was doing nursing with a minor in accounting. Um, Most of my classes my freshman year were actually accounting based, and I only had like a couple prereqs of nursing, and I realized I like accounting a lot more. So I decided this year, last semester actually, to change my major. And I guess the thought process took longer than the actual process because there was a lot of analyzing, seeing if it was worth it, praying about it. But the actual process of switching my major took about 2 days or less than a day because I had to go to fifth floor, go to records, get a form, and then I could get the signatures till the next day. That was it. So I just had to get the signatures, turn it into them, and they did it for me. So you just get a signature from your old advisor and your new advisor, and that's it. And then your major switched.
Simple, right?
Yeah.
Advisors are super helpful here on campus. Each of you have an advisor. Every new student coming in has an advisor, and you're able to get most of your questions answered through them, which is super helpful. They'll help you through planning out your coursework, things like that. So we're going to wrap this up now. We've been able to answer all the questions we have here on screen. We will be doing this every Monday at 3 p.m. Central Time. So please join us again next week. You'll see some of these students again, or you'll see some new students. We have our students kind of shuffling throughout this panel so that you get perspectives from many of our students here on Union's campus. Thank you for joining us.